You live in a 2-family house with your daughter. What do you mean he wants your social? He's trying to rob us. Ma'am, your social security check is $900.
Damon Jam got the tea in the grill. Spilling true bombs, daily drip. I squad flex, yeah, never skill. Story so fresh, let the vibe quit. Drip, drop, the news won't stop. They got the juice, rising to the top. Tune in quick, don't let it fly.
So, Big Beautiful Bill, we talked about this before, but it's not the same one that we talked about in the other video. It is now like the Big Beautiful Bill reloaded, I guess. Maybe like a different one of that. So, cash is pay. Roll that clip, please.
You quote the toughest vote in the history of the U.S. Senate. Senator, let me ask you, as of today, are you a yes on this bill or a no?
Well, I take that as a compliment, and I talked to the president last evening after the parade, and we're trying to get to a better place in our conversations, and I've let him know that I'm not an absolute no. I can be a yes. I like the tax cuts. I actually agree with Art Laffer and the supply siders that a lot of times we cut rates, we actually get more revenue. So I don't have as much trouble with the tax cuts. I think there should be more spending cuts. But if they want my vote, they'll have to negotiate, because I don't want to vote to raise the debt ceiling $5 trillion. You know, Congress is awful with money, and so you should give them a more restricted credit line, not an expansive one. Yes, the debt ceiling has to go up, but what I've said is it ought to go up 3 months at a time.
That's interesting. That's suspicious.
So that was before the, before the.
Oh, that's before now.
Yeah, that was right before all of this. So that was when the
I
negotiations.
wonder what he say now.
Right.
I bet it's a yes.
Yeah, the yeses is already happening. So that's what came out already.
Somebody I know who don't want it is Elon. No, Elon, big mad. Like, I went through, they sacrificed my business, my livelihood, all of that for y'all to go in and just raise debt. Like, bro, y'all could have just left me where I was at, getting money.
That's it.
Putting all that energy into it.
Yeah,
now you got this space right here.
He not wrong though. And I would equally be mad.
I would be pissed too.
I would be mad too. I would be very upset. Cause y'all could have left me right where I was at. Not have to worry and bother me about none of that.
I was balling, making babies.
Balling.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit deeper into it then for the big beautiful bill. Some of the major provisionings in the Senate bill, right, are policy tax changes, and that expands the standard deduction permanently. In the House version, it was temporary. It raises the tax credit from $2,200 or to $2,200 per child, and will be adjusted. So it was supposed to be $2,500 when the House had it. It allows deductions over time for tip income through 2028. Right? No tax on tips, no tax on tips, but it phases out for individuals earning more than $150,000. So that was a restriction not made in the House.
So who do you think you would say, wait a minute, these waiters ain't making $150K?
I apologize to my strippers.
Exactly.
I apologize. The booty clubs is upset.
So also, depending on how it's
that high-end waiters, right? Where the bill is going to be $2,000. Commission checks.
Commission, like y'all getting these big commission checks, y'all. Depending on what it is, they not talking to you.
So now I got to sell less.
All right. So it also increases the deduction for individuals over the age of 65 to $6,000 until 2028 with a phase out of $75,000. So most of your individuals that are high income make above $75,000 because they got
no more. That's going to the trust.
Exactly.
But so y'all see what they're doing, right?
Allegedly.
That 2028. What happens the year 2028?
He out of office. He don't give a damn. What you mean? Figure that out. That's a blue wave problem. That's what he's saying.
next candidate coming up, they're gonna be the ones that's gonna be campaigning on this stuff.
Right,
So
to keep it going.
Easy selling point. Yeah, it's an easy selling point. So I get what they're doing.
Well, that makes sense if it was worth selling to.
Right.
That's the issue. In this case, now it's just watered down from what it was supposed to be. So the other thing where Rand Paul was talking about raises the debt ceiling limit by $5 trillion compared to $4 trillion. That was in the House bill. So that move angered fiscal conservatives concerned about deficit spending. Now let's get into some Medicaid and social safety net stuff. It imposes stricter work requirements on able-bodied adults on Medicaid and SNAP.
Let's pause there for a second.
Yep.
What do you think is considered able-bodied?
They're gonna say if you can hop, skip,
one leg with a kickstand on it.
So here's where it's going to be interesting, because I was talking to my people about this, and physically there can be an able body, but there is an argument about mentally being able-bodied, and that's where you're going to get people who are unable to do X, Y, Z.
I'm just saying, they're gonna have a whole bunch of people at Walmart and McDonald's on some shit.
But I'm just saying, if you have a diagnosis, for example, of like,
we'll figure it out real
depression,
soon.
Right? Let's say depression. They may not say that's a part of being an able-bodied. They may say go to work anyways, but they may not.
Doctors know to change that.
Yeah.
So
it's gonna be a lot of FMLA. Gonna be a whole lot of that. Watch.
So able-bodied adults. So keep that in mind. So, like, it could be physical. I think mental also falls into that. I just want to call that out.
Right. But the Senate version also did they put a little uptick on that, where they required the work age to be up to 64 years old. So that narrows exemptions for parents as well. So basically, if you getting SNAP, you're gonna work till retirement. You're gonna get up off of that. So steeper cuts to Medicaid funding by lowering provider taxes from 6% to 3.5% by 2032. It also establishes $25 billion for rural hospitalization stabilization funds for address concerns and rural healthcare access.
Hold on. Go back to the first one. So to deep dive a little further into that. What it means by allowable provider taxes. So when you go to the doctor, right, your medical insurance, they may pay X thing, right? And then you are responsible for other part of that. I am assuming, we would have to look into this, is that means that the price on the provider would go up.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why that's insignificant. I just want to point that out. That's why this is significant. This part means that if they cut the money that the government's giving to providers, that means it costs more to go to a provider and providers no different than like if you bought from like a third party or something. You think they not gonna? They gonna pass that to you, baby. They gonna pass that to you. So you gonna be sitting here paying like the rest of us. Medicaid ain't gonna be nothing but another insurance plan.
Right, and only people that's gonna semi-benefit from that is people with HSA plans, because a lot of that stuff get written off at the end of the year. But if you don't have
Medicaid too?
No, but what I'm saying is that they're the ones that's paying the lion's share or whatever until they hit their deductibles.
Because when you got a HSA, it's really designed for people who not using insurance like that. That's why you would get that before you get a PPO plan, because you got a tax deduction that you would be able to use, and that money kind of carry over, right? So some plans got the 2,500.
Yeah, they got PPO, HSA plans, all of that. But the thing is, you write it off at the end of the year. Now everybody looking like they're in the same damn boat. We all paying that. It all feels like an HSA plan, because with those plans, you're paying negotiated rates anyways until you hit a certain ceiling with it. So,
but now they're saying, nah, providers, y'all taxes going, basically their taxes are technically going up.
Right. And they want you to pay before you get seen now. That's the new thing.
At some places, not all places. That's just where you at.
But you know they're all going to adopt it in a minute.
They will, but that's where you at.
Now I'm going to just sit and I'm going to drink my tea. Speaking of being green, this talks about green energy tax credits. So it defers the expiration of certain green energy tax credits from the Biden era Inflation Reduction Act, which conservatives deride as one called it the Green New Scam. So that's taking that back, right? Oh no, it defers the expiration, not makes the expiration of the Green New Scam that everybody's talking about. So that's them windmills, as Goofy says, and the
turbines,
solars and all
and
that
solar
kind of
panels,
stuff.
and
Exactly. And then it talks about provisions and orders the sale of 0.5% of public lands in the United States. I wonder who gonna buy that public land, and I wonder what's on and in that public land that needs to be sold. And then last thing, it includes artificial provision, or includes provision restricting states from regulating artificial intelligence for a decade, surprising many tech industry personnel among state lawmakers. So that means that you will not be able to regulate against AI for 10 years, and 10 years in AI years, because AI ain't been around but like 2 years for real. That
It's
might
1,000 human years.
Exactly.
right. All I heard there was Sarah Connor.
Right.
Because next year, though, it's gonna be a Dame Twin and the Jones Gym out here. They're gonna look just like us.
It's gonna take for people to stop feeding the beast. Like, that's the only way to stop it. Like, you would have to literally stop voluntarily providing information and then going to use laws to say, I didn't voluntarily give you this, and then to shut it down.
Well, that ain't gonna happen for 10 years. You ain't gonna be able to do nothing about it.
Right. It's in place now.
Well, it said restricting
states. There's more.
Well, wait, it said restricting states. However, what I'm saying is that if you, for some way, I don't know enough about the laws, I'm not a lawyer, but if there's some way to go beyond state, like a federal law of some sort, you can figure out some type of constitutional law that you as a citizen are being impacted, then yes, you could make change.
Yeah, you have.
So I'm gonna leave that
to
there.
Speak to AI as much as you want to, so it can understand where you're at, where you're going, who you're going to be with, and where you're going to sleep.
So you would have to make this a constitutional issue. So all I'm
think
saying
about Timberland.
I think it's going to be very hard to make something with a.
Think about what happened with Timberland recently. Did y'all peep that? The producer made an AI beat, and then Timberland went behind that producer and made his own little remix to it. The system allowed it to happen, and then it took. The guy was like, "I'm filing a complaint. I'm about to sue you or whatever." And it's like, you did it through an AI app that allowed.
Yeah, you can't sue from that. Yeah.
You didn't compose it yourself. You told AI what you wanted, and
you prompted the composer.
Prompted it. So we're gonna run into a lot of things like that. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's now it's a 10-year situation. There's gonna be a 10-year backlog. Because
it already take long enough for laws to catch up with technology, right? But they ain't do nothing but hold somebody on the ropes where the starting blocks is already gone. It was already gone. It was already gonna take too long for people to litigate whatever was coming anyway. But you added 10 years to it.
Don't that sound like AI wrote that for itself?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, our drippers, like, I will say I'm not necessarily a fan of AI. I know I work and have experience in the industry, but it's dangerous. Like, in a sense of, you are having something. Okay, let's take it away from AI. Unregulations of things. We have a whole Maha situation going, right? Because we're talking about regulating red 35 and blue 67, right? Because it's important to know what's in it, right? We want to make sure we know. Don't y'all think that's suspicious? That's not suspicious. That's something that makes the world run almost like if you didn't regulate, if you didn't have any idea of how electricity was going to go X, Y, Z, that means that you could choose who gets electricity, who doesn't, who lives in first world, third world. Like that is the level
Well,
of
there's been regulation on on electricity,
Energy.
weed,
but I'm saying
oil.
I'm saying it
Uh,
should be. I'm saying
I
it
just
should be
yeah,
like it's
but what,
but I'm saying with
anything that comes
AI,
with
they're not doing.
regulation is that it should
That's
be
like saying
taxed.
red
That's
32 and pink 67 should be able to pull up. We don't even know what pink 67
But
is.
but
That's
let's be
really what
honest
this
about it.
is.
Let's be honest about it. They already knew all of that shit was bad, but yet they let it go. They let it go for as long as they can because it was profitable. Same thing.
That's
with
what's
energy.
happening right now. But that's
what's
same
happening
thing.
right
Yeah.
now. That's why they got the 10-year on there, because they want to let people become billionaires, trillionaires, whatever, in that span, and then they come back behind them in 10 years and say, okay, now
and
let's
cut it
talk
off
about
for anybody
regulation.
else, because that means you slamming the door behind the people that's trying to
Yeah.
run through
They're
behind
taking
Lock
your
you.
that.
face.
Lock
They're
it.
taking your name. They're taking your likeness. They're taking
Right.
your personality. They could take they could make a Jim Dane, right? Like
That's what I'm saying.
you know, like and
I
like
said
mix us
it's
into
gonna
one
be Dane
person.
Plain somewhere. It's gonna be a Dane Plain somewhere. Jones Jim.
I gotta find those videos. There's these AI influencers. That's a good segue for that. There's AI influencers where today I'm gonna drink my tea and look at me. I look fabulous. Well, you're not real, baby. You're not real. You're gonna look fabulous because they coded you to look like that. This is zeros and ones. You know,
Yeah.
you didn't have to work to do anything. It's a dangerous thing, and I really,
Tripping
really
inside
hope
the
that this
AI
does not
artist.
pass. I hope that this does not pass. I hope that this is stopped. I hope that people rebel against this. This is horrible. This is, to me, in my opinion, this is horrible. Just there's no benefit to the people in anything I've read.
And you see how they got it buried into this bill. People are in the know, but about time everybody else really catch on, it's gonna already be done pushed.
Too late. Yeah. So for all our two-way and conservatives that's out there, might as well go ahead and think that, everybody's like, you know what? At least we get to get our suppressors, and they no longer gonna be doing
Was our
tax
last
stamps
one we
and
want to do
making
2A?
get in.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah, is that they deemed that the revenue impact was merely incidental to broader policy changes. So the ruling blocked the elimination of that $200 tax credit, and the fact that the short barrel rifles and shotguns and many other weapons, quote unquote, for the National Firearms Act will be included in the under reconciliation. So that means that they was trying to get that repealed so that you can get your SBRs and your suppressors and all that stuff and kind of quell all of the, we'll say, Gestapo type behavior of our of some of our federal agencies. And the NRA, the National Association of Gun Rights, have both condemned the ruling and saying that activists are urging the Senate leaders to override the parliamentarian, and that's a move that leadership has shown little appetite for.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is that they were gonna be like, yay, we're gonna let y'all get them silencers, baby. We gonna give y'all a credit. We in here, we good. Let's go. Go.
That was a campaign.
Right?
That was a campaign point that our conservative parties were running.
We got you. We gonna do this for you. Then it came up like, you know what? Can't do this for what? Damn, what can you do for? Can't do that. What about the other guns? Can't. Is that right? Am I going down the right path? Like,
basically,
can't do that. It's like, well, damn, what you about to do for me?
Basically, run out and buy as many silencers as you can right now.
Like, keep what you got.
Don't do that because it can take up to a year for you to actually get that silencer. It can take probably more than that. Some people still, been a couple years, they still can't get theirs, and they done paid their $200 and probably $800 or $900 for a can or whatever. So, to me, I think that will totally turn a lot of conservative people off. And a lot of conservative people are two-way to begin with. Let's see what's up. What's a couple things? Okay,
drop some drip in the comments. Are y'all surprised? Does this make you feel differently? Does it make you feel differently about Does it make you feel differently about Trump? Now, to be fair, I don't know if the original had this in it. So I don't know if this was something that Trump proposed here in this manner, but I doubt he gonna go through and be like, nah, I'm not doing this without this pulling up. So how do you feel about the things that were promised to you? Drop some drip in the comments. Do you feel lied to? Do you feel bamboozled? Do you feel like you still got what you asked for? Or do you feel like other people in positions are pushing so much that just things can't get done? What's your thoughts? Let us know.
And to give it a quick summary, it was two-way rights. That mean that the suppressors and SBRs got stripped from the legislation.
Can you let people know what an SBR is?
Short barrel rifle. So
just for everybody who watches me, they're going to
yeah, well, anybody who would have cared about it would already knew what it was.
Maybe people talk about guns, they ain't never shot one before. I hear people all the time talk about we don't need to have all the ARs. I'm like, do you know what an AR is? And they don't.
Okay, so two-way is one of the things that got stripped out. Medicaid and social benefits, so that's where the restrictions got softened.
Y'all going to work,
and also gender care bans for adults were added later in the bill. So you already knew that was coming with the transgender stuff.
So transgender surgeries are
like
approved,
surgeries.
Is what you said?
The ban is in there.
The ban is in there on adults.
Yeah, so it came in there swiftly. You know what I'm saying? Work requirements for single parents is in there already in order to qualify for SNAP. The green energy, where the credits, where everybody was talking about the green new scam, that was supposed to be eliminated. That is not eliminated and is only deferred. So the populist tax cuts, so the no tax on tips and overtime, right? So that's been relegated and phased out for high earners. So that's 150 or more, and 150 in San Fran or San Jose ain't nothing.
Yeah, so think about it. 150. So I'll look up what's the average income. I know in the Midwest, the average family income is like $50K. And that is not the case in Cali.
It's probably gonna be upper 70s, to be for real.
It is 92,000.
Damn.
Says the median household income in Cali is 95,000, according to Smart Asset. The average or mean household income is 135K, according to them. For families, the median income is 92, according to kidsdata.org.
Man, so all right. And then the last thing I'm putting there is tech and AI, where it's the 10-year federal pre-exemption on state regulation. So that's what they put in. So I just wanted to summarize that for everybody.
I don't want to live in Cali. That's crazy.
It's nuts.
That's crazy.
And that 92 don't even feel like 92. That 92.
Oh, you know it don't, because gas is $5 a gallon.
Yeah, 92 for like 32.
How much? Let me see what a Big Mac meal costs at McDonald's in Cali.
It probably costs about $20.
Drop some drip in the comments if y'all got one from there. I'm curious. That's usually what I end up that and like coffee. A medium is $6.42.
Oh, they had to go down on prices then.
Hold on, let's do.
I've been told that some prices have dropped out there, but overall cost of living is just.
It said in the Midwest is $9 for a Big Mac meal.
Yeah.
The why? Oh no, a Big Mac meal in San Diego is $8.49. Less than the Midwest. Whoa, that's crazy work.
That's because more people eating other stuff out there.
Yeah, Cali is a healthy state.
No, Cali is a taco eating state. That's
with that too.
Yeah, like I'm saying Gilberto's and all of that.
Yeah, and then people got trucks, food trucks. I'm saying what I'm saying because everybody is not like running to McDonald's. You got kids maybe, but average adults is like, we gonna hit this taco truck.
Yeah, like so for the no, but for the first time
They
in
got dollar
probably
tacos.
probably ever, taco spots are like Taco Bell and like I said, the Filibertos and all that stuff is actually more popular than a McDonald's. McDonald's used to hold the reins, but Chipotle Mexican Grill and all of those have expanded the palates, along with the millions of migrants that have come into
That
the
part too.
space. Yeah, I'm just like they don't mess with McDonald's, but they do mess with some tacos.
Okay, I'll do a better comparison. So a cup of coffee in Cali is $3.88. In Michigan, it's $2.83. A cold brew in Cali is $6.19. In Michigan, it's $5.09. That's crazy. A whole dollar a cup. That adds up. Ooh, And if I put Seattle in there, it's even worse.
In conclusion, what I say is that the Senate version of this big, beautiful bill is a mixed bag for conservatives and populists. It omits or waters down several priorities cherished by the right, especially on gun rights and social program cuts, largely due to Senate rules and we'll say internal party divisions. Right. But at the same time, it includes several surprising or little discussed provisions, such as the AI regulation that certainly came out of nowhere with the pre-exemption, judicial bond requirements. I didn't even get into that. So that's got to be his own thing. And that's really if you want to sue on behalf of something national, like how Trump policies are being examined by the courts and stuff like that, you gotta buy a bond.
Deportation, you mean like that? Okay.
Yes, they making you buy a judicial bond now, so you have to put some money up in order to sue to keep them out of federal court. So much.
Basically, if you ain't got no money, take your broke home.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And
y'all wasting the court's time. That's how they treat.
So you're really not for the people, then, are you?
Well, it's that
because you can't pay to play. You ain't talking to them.
And that may undermine populist and constitutionalist goals. So people who are trying to fight it because of Constitution. So while the bill's headline populist tax cuts have garnered media attention, the actual impact is limited compared to the sweeping regressive changes elsewhere in the package. That's it.
So I think a cool thing we should do is we can do a deeper dive into this as well in each part. Let us know, drop some drip in the comments if y'all want to see that. But what y'all think? Y'all think this is for y'all? Who y'all think this bill for? This bill ain't for me.
It's the epitome of I feel you.
But I can't reach you because I'm too high in my $1 billion house to care. Like, oh honey, the peasants are crying again.
Feed them cake.
Right, they treating us like Sims characters.
Go to the bathroom now.
AI about to be treating us like Sims characters. Just wait.
And for those of you that make $500,000 a year, $800,000 a year, they talking to you too. You don't make you ain't in that kind of bracket in order for this to not affect you. You still buying guns. You don't have an army or what you call that security, and you don't have chauffeurs with that kind of money.
Especially if you live in like Cali or something, there's definitely a high chance you can make $500,000. You know what I mean? Because I'm sure just to live, that's the median household income. I mean,
right.
What y'all be doing to make that kind of money out there? That's crazy. Whew.
Cost of living.
You still driving a RAV4 or maybe a 4Runner with that amount.
Yeah, and that state is billions in debt.
Yeah,
that's
so
crazy.
They got to get that money one way or another. So
and half of that going to state taxes anyway, state and federal.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you making 200. That's 100. You making that 500. That's 250.
And healthcare is cheaper on the West Coast than it is going Midwest and East.
Because it's free for everybody else.
Right. Because it's a Medicaid expanding state. So Medi-Cal is huge out there. If you make X amount of dollars, you definitely can get Medi-Cal. So they've made it cheaper. because it's certain people that's like, I can get on Medi-Cal, but I can't see my doctors. It's certain doctors I want to see. And then they like you, and then you tell them, hey, family of 4. It's gonna cost you $600. What? Oh my God. Come East Coast and get that same and see what they tell you for a family of 4. They like 1,600.
So that's really the main reason why you see your boy right here.
Yeah, man. So go back to our other videos and take a look at, like, we talked about Elon and Doge. We talked about Tesla. Like, he took a big hit on his personal money. He better than me. I feel you. And he would have been like, can I be a part? I feel you. But I can't reach you. Let me know when that green bill go through.
Right.
That's why he got that face looking like that right now. Mad as hell.
A quarter of my fortune lost trying to help you
trying to help you for you to just go in a deficit. So yeah, according to Elon, he's like, this is horrible because this is just basically,
you know how much he make an hour back. How many hours he spent trying to save the government money only for
them to just spend it.
And got people telling him he's a crip. He'll never do that again. My social. I'm like, man, you live in a 2-family house with your daughter. What do you mean he wants your social? He's trying to rob us. Ma'am, your social security check is $900. I don't think he give a damn that much. I got the sneaky suspicion that he don't care about what you work. He's trying to get himself out of trouble by tapping in. He's going to have access to more things to where he can manipulate markets. Man, what markets is he manipulate that he ain't already making money off of right now? He's trying to help you.
I mean, from a marketing perspective, I could see it being helpful. But at the same time, too, I guess, if they was going to buy his car, they was going to buy his car.
That's
it. You was going to buy because nobody wants to get a Leaf or a Ford. Whatever that truck is, that only go about 25 miles before you got to charge that damn thing up.
Gosh, Lightning.
Yeah, Ford Lightning. Like, oh my God.
Right.
Ford Lightning.
This is coming from personal experience.
Nothing but yes, I've rented a Ford Lightning, and because they had nothing else, and I was just like, you know what? Fine. I'm only here for a day. It should already be charged up at least. I can make it to the house. You know what I'm saying? I drive that thing about 5 minutes, and I went from about 85% to 25% in like 4 miles. I was like, because I'm on the highway? Is that how this is? Is that what's going on with these in these streets?
That just sounds effective.
You will never be in these streets. Nah, it ain't like that because the battery only lasts so long. Plus, it's a truck. It's heavy as hell.
Using more power.
Right. And it was wintertime. So that's another thing that go into that is that when it's cold out, when it's too cold or too hot, those things need to be calculated for. And I don't think that they got engineers at Ford, but it ain't like the engineers at Tesla where all of that is taken into account. At least I believe, because I know that I could go more than 20 miles in a Tesla versus a Ford Lightning. I don't really care for either one. Let me put some gas in the car because it's about 50 gas stations between the airport and the house. I can and only got to take 2 or 3 minutes to put $5 in that thing if I want to, and I can still make it to the house. I don't got
Cassius
8 hours
hates electric cars. Down. Just in case y'all didn't know, he hates electric cars.
I take a hybrid probably as a consolation prize, but I don't have time to be sitting with all of this if I'm driving.
Yeah,
and don't get me talking about these Waymos that go around on the West Coast where you driving Miss Daisy without the driver.
I remember for work, my coworkers got one of those.
You better be on time. That's all I'm saying. You just better be on time. Ain't no I'm late. Let me get this Waymo. You're later now. Shit, tell them you're gonna be there. I'll be there in 5 minutes. 5 hours later, I'll be there in 5 minutes. You gotta give him the Kanye speech on the phone.
I wonder. This is out of pocket, but I'm just curious. I wonder what their policy is on people like getting to it in the back seat because ain't nobody driving.
I mean, it's people that's actually in it because that's the reason why you can't sit in the driver's seat. So they don't let you.
I'm just saying, like, I wonder if people be doing stuff in the back seat because
I'm sure that they have been.
Is there policy like that you can't?
I mean, I don't know what the policy is.
I guess you're supposed to have your seatbelt on.
My policy is I ain't hopping in no damn Waymo. That's what my policy is.
How about it?
Because I ain't gonna be sitting in there. It's gonna turn into some damn Final Destination on my ass.
You owe $16,000 to the federal government in child support. We're taking
3, 2, 1 jail time.
All of a sudden, now let's take it off at like record speed.
Like, goddamn it, I'm a pay. Goddamn. Please.
Why is he going to the police station? This is not what I put.
George, Brian, is it your destination?
They come knocking on the window to my son.
Come on, your ass right on now.
Come on, Plain Dane.
You have a ride at your destination. No, I didn't.
This is not my destination.
Cancel this. This ride is ridiculous.
At least give me my money back on the ride.
Right. But getting back to this. So Elon Musk said in his tweet, or X, I don't know what you call it. The latest Senate draft bill will destroy millions of jobs in America and cause immense strategic harm to our country! ! Utterly insane and destructive. It gives handouts to industries of the past while severely damaging industries of the future, excluding AI. We just gonna say that.
Right. That's what he left out. It's the AI part.
That's because he ain't like the leading voice in AI. You know what I'm saying? That's
So it's called posting or Xing?
It's called Xing. Oh,
Xing or posting.
Okay. Well, someone posted. He posted on the X on his own platform. So good.
Right.
He X'd himself. Let me just put up the drip shit right here. Here you go.
Make sure y'all drop some drip in the comments. Do y'all agree that Doge's efforts were wasted? What do y'all think? Let us know. Drop some drip in the comments.
Yeah.
That's all I got. I ain't got no more.
Yeah. I mean, this is going to be an ongoing discussion here.
Disappointing.
Ongoing discussion.
I'm not surprised.
See what happens.
I'm not surprised.
You're not?
No. Because they can never get SHIT right. There's always somebody got to throw in yeah. It's never just like what somebody actually just.
How'd that go? Because that
yeah.
She talking about eggplant now. She talking about Diddy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they
say. Yeah. It's never just like, hey, I wrote this nice thing. And they're like, let me miss on it.
Yeah. Men's to society.
Like, David, I worked 6 days on this.
Yeah.
I know that it's in 6 minutes. Rewrite it. Like,
use it. You wanted me to vote on passing that bill? Yeah, I thought about it. They was in there like shit.
But it's always like that. So like when somebody presents,
add my seasoning in there.
Yeah, they present all these paper. The only time some crazy stuff got through was like the government was about to shut. I can't remember what it was, and it was like 100-page document or something like that. And it was like, gotta pass it today.
Yeah,
I don't have enough time to get through it.
It'd be more than 100 pages. It'd be 1,000 pages.
What was it?
It was 1,012, like 1,013.
It was when Trump was in last time, if I'm not mistaken. Like right before he got out, he had dropped that like right before Christmas. So like, so.
All right, so I'll add in this last thing, and then we can talk about it if we choose. So, what I asked AI based off of all this information I was going through, I had plugged it in and everything, and I said, how does this bill rank against other bills in the last 30 years that have served the top 1% or those that are invested heavily in technology? And that's the last 30 years. It said, based on the data from the last 30 years, the one big beautiful bill will rank the most significant tax spending bills for high-income individuals and investors if passed. And here's the breakdown for it. So for the top 1%, the Our Big Beautiful Bill would deliver the largest tax cut in American history for the 1%.
Let's get that money off top.
Receiving an average tax cut of $68,000 in 2026 alone in tax cuts on average, compared to major bills since like 1995 and the 2017 Tax Cuts Jobs Act, right? So who made that one? Right, and the largest tax cut since 1940, reducing revenues, and that's 0.7% of GDP. So the OBBBL tax cuts is in 3.7 trillion, and that'll dwarf the tax cuts for Jobs Act. So which was at 1.37% of GDP annually. So in 30 years, Trump would have both the largest and second largest tax cuts for the top 1%.
Making Democrats right. That would be proving Democrats right, that they said he's gonna take the money and give it to the rich, and everybody said no, he not gonna do that. They care about make sure the budget Gucci. We ain't gotta worry about none of that. You tripping. They like no.
And then he said no tax on tips.
And they said
no tax on tips.
I mean,
you know what? That pushed me over the edge, dog. I was on the fence till my dude said no tax on my shit or my overtime. You notice I ain't saying nothing about that.
Ooh.
But you know, the last thing was, you know, the AI tax for investors, like the bill's 10-year preempted exemption for AI regulation creates a stable federal framework, reducing compliance costs. So that's what they're gonna call it, compliance costs. So the tax breaks, and that's bonus depreciation, R&D expensing, would save tech corporations $1.62 billion. Not to mention where the regulation was gonna probably come in was gonna be on the jobs front, right?
Yes, it was.
That's what it was gonna be at. So they get all the bonus depreciation on AI costs, R&D expensing, which you're gonna inflate that. So I'm gonna write that off.
So what do you do with this, right? That's when people listen to stuff like that, they want to know, like, okay, I hear all this data you're giving me. What do I do with it? So unfortunately, I'm one of these people that are impacted by this potentially. I'm fully prepared to be laid off. And it's like I'm fully prepared because like the thing is, it's not if, it's when. I'm fully prepared to be laid off. But as a people, like it's tech workers today. It's gonna be you grocery store people tomorrow. They already got the U scans in there. You know what I'm saying? They got the cookie factor people. If you think servers, they don't even need y'all to do that. You go to Applebee's, they got the thing that you order yourself. Like,
should you go to McDonald's? You at the kiosk now? You're not even in line.
Like it is a actual problem, because when you take away people working, two things happen. You have people who don't have purpose. I know people don't think like, oh, I'm supposed to work to live, but like it gives you something like that you meaningful to do, right? Like, if you don't believe me, look at people who are retired and they, you know, are the ones that like really don't have a whole lot to do. Like, look at how they moving every day and that are doing other things. Some people, you know, they moving, they seeing their people, you know what I'm saying? They traveling, they have their things that they do, work, they volunteer, whatever. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about people who are not doing anything because they're just done. Also, it's taking away like the actual skill sets of thinking, critical thinking, because it's going to do everything for you. Eventually, go watch Idiocracy. If you ain't never seen that movie, go watch it.
Watch that and watch Wally. Watch Idiocracy and watch Wally. So that's what's going to happen. It's going to be a bunch of people sitting there not even walking no more. Everything going to be automated. Because that's what AI is coming to do. It's automation. And on top of that, we ain't got to worry about a union. We ain't got to worry about people. You know, just tap, 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 go do that job. So same thing. I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble because people are already calling, or better yet, people are already on Chat GPT talking insurance.
Mm-hmm.
They're already asking, that's what people come to me for, because I'm an expert in that field. But if you can go on the computer and hey, I see this doctor, I see this doctor, I take this medication, what's the right, plan for me? And they give you a whole rundown. What do they need me for anymore? Now I'm a consultant for AI until they absorb all my information, and then I'm not needed no more. So I might have like 4 or 5 years, maybe not even that long, probably like
not even that long,
8 months.
because they said
like 8
10
months.
They said 10 years for
right, but I'm saying
basically
far as
take over the earth.
Even if I go into the consultant space, they're gonna be like, we information no longer applicable. We got it. Bye bye.
You have to think that you are going to not be in what you're doing now. Like, you have to be okay with understanding that and get you some other skills. And you doing feet pics and OnlyFans, baby, ain't gonna get it, because guess what? They got these AIs that
they got AI corn. Well, yeah, they got AI corn now. So now you don't have to worry about people being tested. You can just type in whatever your fetish is, and voila.
Judgment.
No judgment, no search history. It's just right there.
Oh no, it's search history, all right, and it's judgment, but all of that's gonna be, looked at by the algorithm and fed to whoever owns that algorithm.
All of a sudden, every time you hop on, some weird corn is popping up because you happen to just click on the wrong button.
Yeah, I'm just saying, the husbands who got the wives to be sitting there going through their stuff, and we'll be like,
your algorithm,
you haven't looked up nothing.
Crazy.
You ain't looked up nothing in a while. What's going on?
Your algorithm,
meanwhile, the whole time it's automated.
Taste